All right, here it is. The starting five is back for the first time since 1997. I think Booty Call starring Jamie Foxx was the number one movie the last time an event like this took place for the Rockets, man. I think that song Romeo and Juliet. Remember that rap song? I think that was hot back then. I think that Bill Clinton was the president back then. I think this is before Ice. I think Ice Cube was still a gangster rapper back then.
Man,
Nobody knew who Barack Obama was. What up?
The internet wasn't even that great back then.
Oh no, man! You had a little, 32-bit internet.
hmm.
It was just a couple of pictures, and maybe some of them rang a bell or made a sound or something. You know what I'm saying? We actually had the Houston Oilers back then. It was their final, going in their final season. The
Man.
last time, Randy Johnson was a year away from joining the Houston Astros. I'm
Hmm.
talking, of course, about we were actually 2 years away from the Steve Francis era in Houston. I'm talking about, of course, the Houston Rockets going to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since '97.
Turn up.
Since 1997, it's been way too long. And so, if the last show we did was medicine after the fall, this is the celebration after the ascent and the rise. We're gonna jump right into it. Let me introduce the horsemen from left to right on my screen. DeMarcus Broughton, what's up?
What's going on, man?
Marcus Griffin, what's going?
Man, it was hard for me to get here on time because all the bandwagon fans in the street.
It's all good, man. It's all good. And with the Rockets avatar, we know this guy's not a bandwagon fan. He kept the avatar even after the blowout losses. Tim Shealy, what's good?
Yo, 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 what's happening?
All right, chilling. Let's get right into it. Houston Rockets, man. Game seven. Game seven, a game in which historically we've grown up remembering them really dropping the ball, so to speak, literally and figuratively, whether it was '05 against the what was that? Yeah, the Mavericks.
Hmm.
Whether
The
it was,
Mavericks,
yeah,
point.
whether it was against the Utah Jazz, I think that was '06. Last year with Damian Lillard with the dagger. Rocket fans finally have a something to celebrate, man. Something to celebrate. And take me through the emotions. Just take me through the raw emotions that you all were feeling as you realized that the Rockets would be in the Western Finals. We're gonna break this down a lot, but first take me through that. Being long suffering fans that we are, take me through it.
Well, I'll start it off by saying I remember freshman year I was going to Sam Houston, and I was sitting there on downstairs in the lobby. We was going into Game 7 against the Lakers, and it looked like we was going to do something, and all of a sudden we fell apart. But then they won a championship, so I was like, you know what? We did pretty good at taking the 7 for them to win a championship.
Hmm.
Man, this was a great feeling. Even better than that, for the simple fact is, no one thought we was gonna get this far. They had us outside the playoffs. They had the Mavericks in 5. They had the Clippers in 5, and we are here at the Western Conference Finals. And it's a great feeling just to see that how far the Rockets have come from the joke of the league to the head of the league, and just James Harden. He he's not playing to this MVP caliber, but everybody else around him is stepping up. And Prigioni, I have to tip my hat to him. He played the most inspired game I've seen out of a Rocket player since Game 6 when Josh Smith went off. So it's a great feeling just sitting back and watching them single-handedly just do work on the Clippers. And everyone keeps saying that what the Clippers did wrong and what Blake Griffin did wrong, and Chris Paul had no help in Game 7, but the Clippers they was bringing it. But the thing was, the Rockets was too much for them. And you know what? It was a great feeling just sitting down there and watching them having a good time and seeing Harden chef it up and what's his name, Jason Terry about to hit the whip. I mean, it was a great feeling. Houston fans need to stand up and cheer for them.
DeMarcus, did a grown man cry today?
Man, a little bit because regardless of what round it was, just to see confetti coming down as Kevin McHale raises his hands in glory, it's just not a sight that you expected to see, especially in Houston, with so much ridicule about his coaching style and is he even a good fit for the Rockets. I've always said he was a player coach, and that showed because he trusted his players. From Game 6 on, McHale went out guns blazing with his guys. I think it tells a lot about Mikal not to play Harden because he brought in Brewer, who he drafted. He had the most confidence in Smith, and that's why he had him out there. He allowed Dwight Howard to play the last 16 minutes of that game. He went out with guys that he came to coach, not X's and O's, but to give them confidence because he was a six-man. He comes from a championship caliber organization. So just seeing Mikal with his hands up with the confetti falling, that just tells you everything about our season right there. From all the ups and downs, at the end of the day, we have to lean on Mikal because he is the general of this ship. It's not all about Harden. It's about Mikal rallying his troops, his guys, for the hope of a championship, man.
Yeah, did a grown man cry. They say men cry in the dark. Was this an instance?
I think the little boy inside of me cried tears of joy. You know, man, for one, just to come back from being down, 3-1, to be the 19 to come back, man, I thought that was amazing because a lot of people wrote us off, fans, even just being around the city. You heard a lot of people thinking that, well, we might win 1, but we won't win 6 in LA, or we might do this, but we won't do that. So, and the way that they came back in 6 was very amazing. But as a long Rockets fan, as long as I can remember, I can't even tell you for how long, but as long as I can remember, man, from the days of, the Moochie Norris and, Stromile Swift and
Jimmy Jackson,
Jimmy Jackson, Wells, you know what I'm saying? We've had a lot of dark years, man. A lot of.
Hey! You left out Skip to Malou.
Oh no! He was on the playoff team though.
I'm about to say Skip did what he could, man. Skip did what he could. I'm talking about all
did the best he could. He was on the team that won 20 straight.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys and a lot of teams that were supposed to be quote unquote something special, but never panned out to be.
There we go. How about him?
Who?
Shannon Anderson.
Oh, Maurice Taylor. Wait, we can go all day.
Yeah. Rising star Eddie Griffin, who was the rising
rest in peace.
Star.
Rest in peace, Eddie Griffin.
Rising star Kyle Lowry. So we've been there. We've been there, man. But the most amazing thing about this is we still didn't have that second go-to scorer. We didn't really have that demo consistently. And that's why I thought that was going to affect us throughout this whole series, not having that shot creator that when the offense goes on a drought, they can create their own shots. That's what Demo brought to the team. So by not having that and still being able to beat this team down 3-1 in 7 games, that's the most amazing thing to me because a lot of guys changed their game to win this. Corey Brewer tried to operate in the half-court offense, and he was successful at times. He shot 50%. That's the best you can ask for. 4 for 8 is way better than going 1 for 8. And then you got Pablo Prigioni. He turned 38 today. Happy birthday to the man. But, I mean, pressure defense, 2 clutch steals on Chris Paul, 3 total, 4 assists, hustling, made a huge 3 over DeAndre Jordan. Those are the type of plays that you just don't expect from these type of players. And I'm so glad that it's all coming together at this time of the year. Because it's cool to go on a nice winning streak in the regular season. You can reel off 12 straight, 15 straight. But you want to play your best basketball in May and June. Because this is when your legacy is on the line.
Exactly. Well, I got to ask this question because a lot of us were down after that middle part of the series with the blowouts. But they of course the Rockets came back. I'll admit I got to apologize to a lot of people on the team, around the team. I want to ask you guys though, who deserves the biggest apology? I mean, we could pick Dwight Howard, we could pick Daryl Morey, we could pick Kevin McHale. I mean, the list goes on. Who do you think we owe the biggest apology to right now?
Josh Smith. I got to give it to him because I really just, man, I just be down in Josh Smith. I'm scared when he bring the ball up the court or when he's shooting a uncontested 3 when he should be driving or he's playing, I wouldn't say sometimes lack of defense, on the other side of, he just like, I finally, I went to sleep. I'm sorry to say that. I went to sleep on the game 6, and, I woke up and I saw that we were, leading the comeback, but I finally got to sit down and actually watch the whole game and just watching his energies, he knocking down clutch threes and defense on the other end. It was something important, something great to see, just from the standpoint of no one knew what Josh Smith was going to bring to the Rockets. With the crap he was going on in Atlanta and in Detroit, and Arrow was always saying he was a cancer to the team, and it's just amazing to see him go far with the Rockets. It's a Cinderella story for the Rockets, and just seeing how Terry came to the Rockets when he was not doing nothing with the Celtics, and he wasn't doing nothing with the Kings, and he's kind of blossoming with the Rockets. And same with Corey Brewer. He was doing work with the Timberwolves, but it's like he brings that extra energy for the Rockets. And it's just something nice to see. And I have to give Josh Smith, for the simple fact is, I really didn't think that it was going to be I thought it was a good pickup, but it wasn't going to be a great pickup that was going to pan out. And the fact that he stepped up in clutch games, I have to tip my hat to him. So I got to write him a letter later on.
Yeah, the back off Marcus, me personally, I apologize to Josh Smith because for the same reasons, you see him getting ready to launch up threes and stuff, and you're somewhat with the no, and then it goes in and yes. But he brought the energy game 6. I think he really led that comeback. He really had that fire on the floor that the team needed. Somebody I also think that you have to say sorry to is Kevin McHale. From, like I say, being in Houston and really looking at social media and stuff, Kevin McHale gets bashed a lot. He does, whether it's by him or by his players not showing up on the court. He just gets bashed a lot, man. And I think it's somewhat unfair. I mean, sometimes he does make head scratching decisions that you don't know what's going on. But for the most part, Kevin McHale is a good coach. He's very underrated as a coach.
Yeah, I'd have to say you definitely have to apologize to Kevin McHale, which I never doubted him, just to say. But also, you have to give a hats off to Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard was in a lot of foul trouble, especially in Game 6, and he ended up totaling 40 minutes in that winner-go-home situation. Didn't come off the court the entire fourth quarter. And this is a guy that's been criticized his entire career. He's too soft. You can't win with him. His offensive game is lacking, which is all true things. But now is the time for him to change it. A playoff series like this where you're getting dominated in Game 3 and 4, and then you end up out-rebounding them almost on your own the last 3 games, and you're dominating the paint. You're challenging every shot. Chris Paul didn't take advantage of any of those mismatches, if I'm not mistaken. Anytime that Dwight Howard had that switch, he was with him step for step. So he really showed why he's considered the best center in the league, and he's pretty much earning that $22 million that we're paying him per season.
And all, the apologies are there. I do see that. I also though want to talk about Dwight Howard because we bash him a lot as well. $80 million man. He played very well in that Game 6. 20 points, 21 rebounds. Played solid in this game. What do you guys come out on him as the Rockets win? And going into the Western Finals, what do you guys come out on Dwight? Because he's always kind of an anomaly, kind of an enigma. There we go.
Well, if I really want him to practice on the free throws because, that's just like a clear weakness in the Rockets, like our Achilles heel. Because, just watch.
He can't get better.
Yeah, I ain't want to put in just 11 years. I think he did all the practicing.
But I expect I expect huge things from him against the Warriors. I'm sorry, Bogut is not going to stop him. Green is not going to stop him. He should dominate against the Warriors because look how bad the Warriors are with Marc Gasol and Tebow. He should be able to dominate against the Warriors, and I expect it to be a dogfight with the Warriors. And it's a great match. It's probably one of the greatest Western Conference matches I've seen in a long time. Just for the simple fact that the Rockets and Warriors like brothers, like twin brothers or something like that. They literally have the same team. It's kind of memento of shooting the three and and they have a nice bench or whatever. The defense has stepped up or whatnot. And you have the 2 MVP candidates, and then you have they have a better crowd than us. But after the day, man, I can't even doubt our fans because it was just incredible to listen to. Them cheering or just getting into the game, and I'm looking forward to it. And I just expect Dwight Howard to dominate and look like his old self, like he looked in Orlando. And I hope he, you know what, I hope and pray that the Rockets go to the finals. It'll just be a great feeling, just to think that through all the adversity we had this year, that we persevered throughout it all. So that'd be a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Like I just said, I think Dwight is back. I think he proved that in Game 6 by logging in 40 minutes. Center at his age and as many minutes he's playing in the regular season, the 15-minute, the 20-minute games, and we just didn't know how much he had left to play 40 minutes in a win-or-go-home situation. That's big time. That means that you're out there for the team. You're doing everything you can to stay on that court. You're not picking up all these ticky-tack fouls. He committed a lot of fouls, but he didn't foul out. He stayed in there when we need him. So, and that's the big thing about everything. That's why I really do think Dwight Howard is back. But as much as he can dominate the paint, we still got to stop Steph Curry from hitting those threes. We still got to stop Klay Thompson from hitting those threes. Andre Iguodala, Harrison Barnes. If they start getting hot around those perimeters, as much dominating that Dwight Howard can do, those 2 points is not going to match those threes.
And can the Rockets stop them, man? What is the blueprint to stopping the Warriors? Let's look ahead to that series a little bit. What is the key matchup? What is the key to stopping the Warriors and for June 4th rolling around and it's saying Rockets versus whoever from the East? What's the key?
James Harden has to lock down Klay Thompson. They have to put Ariza on Curry. And Jet is going to have to do his best to stop Harrison Barnes in the corner. If those three matchups don't work out, it's going to be the Warriors in 6.
Well, did you hear that Patrick Beverly's supposed to be coming back this round?
Yep. Patrick Beverly takes his cast off tomorrow. I do understand that, but he's still going to be a hurt Beverly. If he gets a hard hand check or comes off a screen too hard and somebody hits that same wrist, he could have a second surgery easily, because now you're talking about going from out of a cast to full competition in the playoffs. It's not a regular season game. This is hard competition, want to go home, and you coming in with an injury. We have you seen any video of him working out, shooting shots, or anything? We haven't seen anything. All we hear is reports. So how effective can Patrick Beverly be when you got a Prigioni who's won championships and Jason Terry playing out of his mind for a 37-year-old? What can Pat Bev do differently from sitting on the bench?
That's true, but I think I'd rather see Harden play Curry and Ariza play Klay Thompson, because when it all says and done, Klay Thompson he's the X guy in their offense. When he's going, the team's going. Well, Curry can go.
He's easier to stop than Curry. I think Ariza length can bother him more than Harden can with Steph Curry.
We all know this. You're not going to stop Curry. We can slow him down.
Slow him down.
You can slow him down. Basically, you can try and hinder him. I think the point is going to have to be to make Klay Thompson uncomfortable. Now, we saw that somewhat in the Memphis series with Allen and Mike Conley playing the defense on him. He didn't really shoot the way that he shot throughout the year. He had a lot of bad stretches, and it was only until Tony Allen was hurt and Klay actually got back into the rhythm.
So when Tony Allen was hurt in the regular season, that's when he dropped 42 on Memphis.
So I think that's what's going to be. We're going to need to, get him uncomfortable. We're going to have to, force him into some bad shots, or even just force him to pick up the ball and maybe not shoot. Make him pass.
That's why I think the matchup with James on Klay would be a lot better, because Curry could do all his moves on Harden and knock down his confidence. At least he has a chance at having Thompson miss if he plays a hard enough defense, because he's better than Klay. I can't say the same thing about Curry, but I know for sure he's better than Klay, and he has a better shot of shutting down Klay Thompson than Steph Curry.
And I also think that it's going to also be the battle of the benches. Like, who bench is going to play better? Is it going to be the Warriors bench going to be playing better than the Rockets, or is it going to be the Rockets bench, coming out? And then
not Dre, but Andre Iguodala and Josh Smith are pretty much the X factors for both series, because I don't know if Mikal is going to go back and put Josh Smith on the bench, or if he's going to be starting.
I think he'll start him probably.
But for the second unit, they're going to need a playmaker to match Andre Iguodala, and I think that's going to be Josh Smith. So he has to be the playmaker for the second unit, just like Andre is, for their second team to get rolling.
And speaking of the second team, oh, go ahead.
Oh, and I was just going to chime in and say that, just looking at the Rockets and the way they played tonight, James Harden didn't have what they would call a quote unquote MVP, type of game. But just watching every Rocket player, this game, the last two home games that they had are probably the best I've seen the Rockets play in a long time. Well, they were playing together. Everybody was passing the ball. Everybody was getting touches. Everybody was playing like they were having a good time. That it wasn't so much let's give it to Harden. Let's give it to Harden every time. It was actually everybody was just touching the ball and was moving. That if they take this energy into the Western Conference Finals, I feel like they can overcome the doubts or the doubters and whatnot. And the thing is, I feel like the Memphis showed how you can play the Warriors. It's like you bump them a little bit, you get up under their skin. Curry gonna get his, but it's shut down to others. It's always gonna be shut down to others. If we can shut down to others, then I think we're gonna be pretty good.
And I want to get into, James does have to play better. He's gonna have to step it up. But you were talking about the bench, putting Josh Smith on the bench in the starting lineup. I want to talk about Terrence Jones, man, because he's been a nice little X factor as well. He's gotten some key shots. He's done some good things. Especially, this goes back to saying sorry to Kevin McHale. A great adjustment was putting him on the bench because he was able to find more favorable matchups. Do you want to see Terrence Jones on the bench or in the starting lineup? And also, I know this is a double barrel question, but do you think there's another level that he could reach in this series?
I think just having Terrence Jones find some type of confidence in the playoffs is big for us to begin with. I mean, back-to-back series, Dirk and LaMarcus Aldridge, man, at least 20 a night on them, at least, and that type of confidence from so many points coming from one player's, the one player that he's guarding, that has to dribble down on you as an NBA player. So I think he got a huge spark by coming from the bench. It installed a lot more confidence in him because now he knows that someone can actually take your spot. Because when he got his spot taken last year by Omer Asik, he didn't respond well. He continued to play poorly. Now he got his spot taken, and he hit some clutch threes in Game 6. Some very clutch shots. So I don't know if he has that second level, but I do think this is the perfect area for T. Jones, that 7th or 8th man off the bench, give you a nice little spark, able to create his own shots against the other second unit versus going out there with Blake, Dirk, LaMarcus Aldridge. Is the most important time of the year. I think he got a better role coming from the bench.
What do you think?
I thought that's basically the last three playoff matchups that we had have been real tough on Terrence. Like you say, you had to guard LaMarcus, you had to guard Dirk, and you had to guard Blake. And I think coming off the bench, I think it was somewhat of a sigh of relief because he wasn't expected to produce as much.
Mm-hmm.
He could go out there and give basically what he had. He'd go out there, make some nice shots, make some nice passes. He's still a pretty good rim protector. He's not the right of DeAndre. He's able to get some blocks and adjust some shots.
And not to cut you off, Tim, he's also not picking up those 2 fouls he's getting from trying to play hard defense on these power forwards in the starting segments of the game.
Very true. And I just think that coming off the bench somewhat, it might have, last year, it may have been something negative for him. But this year, I think he somewhat found his niche and he found out that, there's no shame in coming off the bench. There's no shame in coming off the bench and still producing.
Now tell me this, Tim, do you think it's fair to say that Terrence Jones being benched did the same thing that it did for Josh Smith when he got benched?
I guess you could say that. I guess, yeah. I think it was somewhat different because Josh was coming from on teams he was somewhat of a focal point. And then once he came to Houston, he started because of injuries. But then once he had to go to that bench, you had to, like you said, find your niche. He had to find out what he does. And really, in our team, in our offense, with the players we have, he was somewhat of the ball distributor in the second team.
Mm-hmm.
He had that ball control. He was able to go out there and make the right plays. But
Because it seems like he took on a lesser Josh Smith role, and they just had Pablo Prigioni trying to make a lot more plays in the second team unit.
yeah, so I could agree with you on that.
Man, all right. And so I don't want predictions just yet. Just yet. I want to break down the Eastern Conference matchup next because we are down the final four teams. Eastern Conference Finals. Hawks, Cavaliers. LeBron James, of course, the story there. Got to bring a championship to Cleveland. Kyrie Irving hurting a little bit. He doesn't know if he's going to play in Game 1. I think this is kind of a toss-up series. You know, where do you guys come out? How do you all see this series going?
Well, I'll go ahead and say it. I gotta write a letter to Paul Pierce for
Man,
sympathy card that he hit that clutch three.
he
Just
don't deserve it.
it's too late.
That's a bad one to go out.
Gotta send him a letter of sympathy. That's gonna be hard trying to sleep on that. But I have to go ahead and I don't like the Cleveland Cavaliers, so I'm never gonna pick the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm already gonna pick Atlanta. But the simple fact is, Paul Millsap has not stepped up to the level that I would, expect of him to. And I expect him to.
Back when he was in Utah kicking the Rockets' ass.
That's what I'm saying. I expect him to dominate because I don't see nobody on Cleveland on his team that can stop him or Al Horford. Like, I feel like Tristan Thompson, they're making, or Mozgov making bump him a little bit, but I expect them to really dominate. And Carroll, he's shown me a lot that he can be a playmaker on his, because everyone says that, that Atlanta has no true playmakers, but, in the first two series, he showed me that he's a go-to guy in crucial moments. So I really see them giving Cleveland, a run for their money. And I truly think that if you can get under Cleveland's skin, I want to say the first couple of games and, kind of throw them off, or, off that, kilter a little bit, I feel like Atlanta can take the series and take it nicely if they want to, in my opinion.
Okay. I mean, when it comes to Atlanta, it's hard for me to have any confidence in them because Pierce pretty much would have won Game 5 if they just got a rebound, and he probably would have tied up the series if he had a better opportunity at a shot. I mean, he pretty much got the ball with 1.5 in running, and they told him to, here, do something with it, please. So I just think the Hawks don't even deserve to be in the Eastern Finals, but since they are, and their X factor is going to be Horford. Al Horford played out his mind. He played like he didn't want to lose, and that's two Florida players left in the Final Four of the NBA championship. And we're going to see which one's going to make the better impact, which one's going to be the better teammate. But Al Horford, he's going to lead this Hawks team, and it's going to operate through him. He has to do his due diligence on Mozgov and make him uncomfortable as far as trying to block his shots and be a rim protector. And he's going to have to get his man Millsap involved on the block. So it's all going to come down to Horford, and if Korver can hit anything. I mean, it's sad to say that one of the best shooters the whole year is shooting under 40%. So he has to come on with it. And the Hawks could have a chance, but at the end of the day, you can't knock out LeBron James because he stepped up big time after I thought the series was pretty much swung full tilt to Chicago after Rose hit that game winner.
But let's go ahead and say this about the Wizards. Like, okay, the Nets gave Atlanta, gave them a run for their money. The Wizards
missed John Wall for 2 full games. They didn't have John Wall for 2 full games.
Thing is, when watching that game, the Wizards ran. They ran. That's what killed Atlanta. They was just like, Atlanta looked old out there. Like they look like the Spurs. Wow. But the thing is, I can't see Cleveland dominating because they haven't really dominated in my opinion.
They haven't.
LeBron hasn't. He had a.
They hit their threes. That's exactly what they're doing. Cleveland's hitting their threes. If you make your threes in the playoff, those are heartbreaking. You come down, you fighting hard for 23 seconds on the shot clock for 2 points, and they come down, they splash a 3 with 15 seconds still left on the shot clock. That's heartbreaking.
And that's what I see. I see Josh Smith as being somewhat of the X factor in this series. Because if he can hit his shots like he was hitting against the Bulls, I don't see the Hawks beating Cleveland. Because I mean, you can't bet against LeBron really. You know what I'm saying? I think I'll be crazy to do that, to bet against LeBron. And still, man, Cleveland is a tough team. And when you are able to have J.R. Smith running out there knocking down they're almost unbeatable. Man.
He only needs them for one thing, and that's to hit threes. They didn't have J.R. Smith the first 2 games. They didn't have him the first 2 games, and they still took this series in 6.
And if he loves anything,
Go ahead.
Go Tim.
If JR loves to do anything, he loves to shoot. That's what he wants to do. He'll shoot all day.
How about the fact that 3 former Knicks who were kicked off the team are still in it? How about that?
Man, that's amazing, but I mean, I think that shows more with Carmelo Anthony and what he couldn't do with this talent and what LeBron can do with this talent. I mean, it pretty much just adds another notch onto the story of why LeBron is better than Carmelo. Because if he takes his trash and wins a championship with them, that's almost the ultimate disrespect as far as Carmelo should be concerned.
Well, you can't put too much on it. JR plays good when the team is playing good. When the team is playing bad, JR plays bad.
And I get that, but remember this. It was about halfway through this season, and J.R. Smith did not pass the ball to Melo. That tells you everything about how he feels about Carmelo right there. If that's your star and your general, you're going to give him the ball. But for you to disregard even passing him the ball to jack up a game winner and miss, what does that say about you and how you feel about him?
I may have to disagree with you a bit just because it's JR and he's been known to be basically JR. I just think
JR's been JR, but it had to be the boiling point for him to just disregard, nah, I'm not gonna pass you the ball, and then he get traded a few weeks later.
He's followed. I'm not gonna say he's followed Melo everywhere, but he had the choice. He signed with New York, and then he also signed an extension with New York. I think it's somewhat of the fact, man. If y'all remember, JR had a game this year. He shot 17 threes. 17.
That's all he needs him to do.
LeBron
needs him to do what he can't do. LeBron only hit 3 threes in the series.
But if that had been in New York, it would have been a lot more about JR jacking up shots. The fact that he's in Cleveland and that's all they need him to do, it was somewhat swept under the rug. If he had shot 17 threes, win or loss in New York, people would have been questioning him. Like, why is he shooting so much? He's shooting. He didn't take a 2-pointer. He didn't take one regular field. Everything was threes. There's a difference between playing with LeBron and the way the media treats you and playing with Carmelo and the way the media may have treated him.
Exactly.
But that still speaks volumes to Carmelo's game and making his teammates better, because a real teammate is going to find a situation to where we can win, and I'll put you in spots to win. Melo didn't put J.R. Smith in any spots to win. He didn't put Shumpert in any spots to win. He didn't put Amari Stoudemire in any spots to win. He didn't put Raymond Felton in any spots to win. And we all consider them to be decent NBA players.
But you can't put too much on Carmelo for the simple fact that Carmelo's not a distributor. He's not a distributor.
Why you can't put nothing on him? And he was considered the franchise player, and New York almost traded away the whole state just to get him. Why you can't put nothing on him? $128 million. Why you can't put nothing on him?
He's not a distributor.
Why does he get a pass?
This is why he's getting a pass, because he's not a distributor like LeBron is. Because it's like, look at Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is not a distributor like LeBron is. He's not feeding the ball to Ibaka or Derek Fisher when they was back there and stuff like that. He was taking his shots. Melo is, you get Melo because Melo takes the shots, and he makes most of his shots.
No, he doesn't.
You get him.
What shots has Melo made?
Nowadays, he don't make any shots, but that's what his info was.
Just because Carmelo Anthony was building up his points per game playing the lower echelon teams don't mean that he's a shot maker. Yeah, you can easily score. You can score 50 on the Nuggets, but then you play the Spurs. You play the Spurs. You have 10. Now you're averaging 30 points.
But how many players are there like? How many players are there out there that's like LeBron that just truly, is more about my teammates before me? Harden is playing.
Paul Pierce. just to put it back on him, Paul Pierce was probably one of the most selfish players they considered, and he even said that he was the true definition of a great player on a bad team. They finally put talent around him, and he adapted to team ball. Carmelo Anthony had Tyson Chandler, Amari Stoudemire, J.R. Smith, Raymond Felton. Regardless of how y'all feel about them right now, at that time they was considered good NBA players, and he did nothing with them. He didn't adapt. He did not adapt.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Look what they did last year. I mean, the year before last. I mean, they had a great season. They had a great season when things was going, when everything was clicking and all that. Then it was injuries that started taking place of that, and then it was just like the media bashing and all that stuff like that. And then you had like JR going out, getting in car accidents and things of that nature. It was just like negative attention on top of negative attention and negative attention. And Carmelo is not the type of person. If you even look at Carmelo, he's not even the type of person that steps in, intervenes in a situation and try to solve things of that nature. LeBron is always a hands-on person and trying to change the situation. Carmelo's not like that. He's like, you do your own thing. I'm not gonna worry about you. I'm not a babysitter. But LeBron is a totally opposite. But the thing is, I don't knock Melo for that because some people like playing around that. But it's like, oh, this person, mind your business.
If Melo wanted to win, he would have went to Chicago. If he wanted to win, if he truly wanted to win and not just have the fame and the money, he would have went to Chicago.
I believe he would have left. But I also got two things I gotta say, man. I think one, JR has said it himself, man. He feels that Cleveland was a good place for him to be because there's nothing to do. He says that he can't go out at night. He's not out at the club. He's not out drinking like he was in New York. If y'all remember a couple of years ago, like Marcus said, they were in the playoffs. The night before games, there was photos of JR getting drunk in the VIP section at the club.
If you had Melo on your team, maybe you had to get drunk to play with him.
Back in Denver, but JR, when he was balling, there's nothing to do in Denver. Denver's except smoke, and that's like legalized now when he was out of there. So I'm pretty sure it was he's like Tim was saying, there's nothing to do, and it's like I can't too much knock Melo. I can't knock Melo for getting his money or he didn't go to the pools and things of that nature. I just like if LeBron wins the championship with with Cleveland, it's not because of JR and all that. It's because of the combined pieces of what he brought around. I can't. I mean, hey, if Prigioni gets a championship, then I'll be like, hey, New York, y'all mix it up.
I think the whole New York thing, just to put it out there, the whole New York thing was just bad to begin with. I mean, if you remember, they had Mike Woodson basically yelling on the floor, throw the ball to Melo, throw the ball to Melo, throw the ball to Melo. That was, I guess, one of their set plays. But in all honesty, and I hope I'm quoting JR right because I don't want him to sue me, but he has said that LeBron is a better leader than Carmelo was. He said LeBron is a better leader on and off the court than Carmelo was. I don't know if that technically means he's a better player, but from what JR said, LeBron is the better leader. I just think JR is just a scorer. He's just a scorer with a sports mentality. He's not going to be the guy to make people around him better. He's just going to be the guy to get you points. You need to fill him. You need to fill the team with people that can play around him. I'm not sure what type of people those are, but that's what you're going to have to do because he's a scorer. He's not going to be the LeBron James / Magic Johnson type to where he's out there distributing and kicking it to shooter. He's going to score and he's going to get you rebounds. What he's always done his whole career.
So Melo should just go to Washington.
Nah, that's where KD going. They hired his coach. But I mean, those are the final four teams, man. So I gotta ask. I mean, not necessarily how many games, who each series goes, but 3 words: blank versus blank. Fill in the blank in the finals, June 4th. Fill in the blank.
Cavs versus the Rockets, and I predicted that dang near January. I said that the Rockets are gonna make it to the championship. If it's the Rockets versus the Warriors, we was gonna go to the championship. And I said it was gonna be the Rockets and the Cavs. So hey, I'll call it. I'll stick to it. Rockets in 6.
Oh man, you bold, my brother. I got Warriors and Cavs, my brother.
Oh!
Warriors and Cavs, man. I think the Warriors just have entirely too much firepower for us. Entirely too much firepower. I hate to say it, but I mean those games was atrocious to watch. Although Dwight didn't play in the early ones, and we didn't even play after half the season. I think the last time we played was the Warriors' 40th game. So the last time we met was before the All-Star break. But I think the Warriors, they've grown as a team. They know exactly what lineups they need to have. They faced a lot of adversity, and every time you want to count them out, they prove us wrong. And then Curry hitting 62-foot shots, man. Come on, dude. Come on, man.
I think at least coming out the East, I'm going to go ahead and say Cavs for sure. Coming out the West, I believe it'll be a 7-game series. And I got to knock on wood. I'm going with the home team, going with the Rockets. But I believe it'll be Cavs versus the Rockets after Houston goes another 7.
Man, what did y'all think about Steph Curry's? I mean, yeah, he hit the game that long range 3, 62 feet, but I was more impressed with the move he put on Courtney Lee and then Kosta Koufis, the step back. I mean, how do you stop that?
I don't see anybody on our roster that really can stop that, man. And that's the scary part about it all. Like, I really don't see anybody holding him. And like I say, put Ariza on him because that's the only chance we have of slowing him down. That's why we paid him. Ariza has to make his money this series. The little $8 million he's getting paid, he has to make it this series.
I don't think there's a way to stop it. I mean, hopefully, like Beverly, he should be getting his cast off tomorrow. And he said that as soon as he gets his cast off, he'll play. I'm not sure what type of role, how many minutes he'll be playing.
How do you expect him to contest with a wrapped up hand that just got out of cast? Like, how do you expect that? How can he high point the contest on the ball with a broken hand?
The same way John Wall played with a broken hand.
You see what happened with that? He played terrible, if you want to be honest. John Wall probably cost that team the game. He was out there, his leadership helped him, but his shots that he was taking, he couldn't use his left. He cost them the game. Do you want to have that same blame on Pat Beverly?
We never leaned on Pat for the scoring. We've never leaned on Pat, so I'm not really.
Yeah, but so when he gets the ball, he's just not gonna dribble at all. He's just gonna pass it up. He's never gonna be in a spot to where he had to dribble.
He has a right hand.
Somebody gonna try to ball check him and hit that hand.
They might, but I'll take that. I'll take an extra body, and if he gets hurt again, We're back at square one. But I'll take it. He said it himself. I'll play with pain. He said this will be nothing. Those are his words, not mine. So I'll take it.
So who minutes do you take away? Who minutes do you take away? Pat Bev is back. Who minutes do you take away?
I take away Terry's minutes. I'm not taking away.
You take away Jason Terry's minutes, the leader of the team.
I'll take away Terry for the simple fact is Terry is not running the offense to the T. Prigioni runs the second string offense, which I love it when I see Prigioni because he brings a calmness to the offense that it doesn't have. You know, when Josh Smith is trying to run into something like that, he calms and puts everybody in perspective. And we need to run this better or something like that. And the thing is, this is the series where I put it on Harden's back. If Harden doesn't step up and play like an MVP, then this is when I start trash talking Harden. This is where you in the moment now where you need to show the world why you deserve MVP or why you should have got MVP. And it's like, yeah, you can't stop Curry, but you know what? You can show you can slow everybody else down, and you can show the world, why you should be considered an elite player. When my whole thing with Harden is when Kobe Bryant came out and he's like, that would have been my MVP. What he did with the Rockets and things of that nature. He's like, he will be one of the best two guards and things of that nature. When you have somebody like Kobe Bryant giving you kudos, that should make you want to step up your game that much better. And I was like, I put more. It's going to be a Dwight Howard and Harden game, and they have to step up and play like they are worth the money that we're giving them. And I feel like the Rockets can do it. We've been doubted all year that, the Rockets weren't going to do nothing. And, it's too good of a ride right now for them not to win. Not go to the finals. And I'm just going to ride it.
But I'm chilling. The thing that concerns me the most is everyone is celebrating like we already won a championship. Like, we were so hungry for a playoff victory. We got 2 in one season after having 1 in 17 seasons.
But who was celebrating? Did you see like Harden's after the game interview showed you that he's like we've been
No, I'm not talking about the players. I'm not talking about the players. I'm just talking about the fans in general. The fans in general are celebrating like we really did something. We still have to play this series. I like the Warriors overall in the series. Of course, I want the Rockets to win. That shouldn't even have to be anything I have to say. Of course, I want them to win. But the Warriors have the firepower. We have to match that firepower.
Well, to go to me, for the fans, of course, at this point in the season, you're always going to have a lot of people that say that they watch a certain sports, just somewhat like the Super Bowl. Around Super Bowl time, everybody's a football fan. But I think, for me personally, the excitement that I see from a lot of people that I know that are true Rocket fans, like I say, it was just a sight to see them coming back from being down 3-1. I mean, like I say, that we're a team in history. We're the 19th to do that in the history of the NBA.
One of two teams to do it twice.
Yes, and one, thank you. So for us, that Clutch City thing, that was something that we did show this series. It'll be on us to see if we can do it the entire playoffs. And like I say, it is going to be a tough road ahead of us with the Warriors. They're not the number one seed for nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I think that was just the excitement of seeing that, man, because not only were we down throughout the season where teams, analysts were saying we'll be a 7th seed, we'll be an 8th seed, then coming to the playoffs. Well, the Mavericks may be able to catch the Rockets slipping, so I'm going to go with the Mavs in 6. I'm going to go with the Mavs in 7. We take them out. Then coming in here, like I say, a lot of people counted us out against the Clippers. A lot of people, we should have played. We would have had a better chance against the Spurs, this and that. And it could have been vice versa anyway because we were just the underdogs, at least in my eyes, from what everybody else was saying. So for us to be down and, you know what I'm saying, come back the way we did, I think that's something to celebrate. But like you say, we got bigger things, man. We gotta come out this West. We got to get this championship because I don't see the window for the Rockets being that big. I see it maybe as a 2-3 years on a stretch.
And that's true. And just to go on a recap of what I said prior to the playoffs started, I said we needed 3 Rockets to shoot 40% or better from the three-point line. I think we got something a little bit better. We got 5 players shooting 35% or better. Trevor Ariza, 35%. Corey Brewer, 35%. James Harden, 36%. Josh Smith, 37%. Jason Terry, 38%.
It's not bad. That's good.
Shots, we be rolling.
Yeah.
And you know what? And then I'm sorry to interject this again, but I'm still a Dallas fan, But this reminds me of when Dallas went on a run and everybody was just doubting Dallas. We played Portland, it was like who's gonna take out Dallas. Dallas wins. Then we play the Lakers. Oh, Lakers gonna sweep Dallas. Dallas sweeps the Lakers. Then we go play OKC. Dogfight. We go to the finals. But it was just like everybody always doubted Dallas, but Dallas always came out and played better the next series. Like we were playing together the greatest Portland, but you played the LA, we took another step. The Rockets took another step tonight. They took another step game 5. For the simple fact is they playing together. It's not like they just out there, lackadaisical and looking at each other or looking at Harden to, take shots and things. It's the other players are stepping up. And when you have the other players stepping up and James Harden has still not played a great game, I mean, that says a lot. And that gives me confidence that maybe it may snap one day on Harden. Harden start playing like he's played during the season. And then you still have your other players who still been stepping up. That's another, firepower right there. I just feel good as a Rockets fan. Just it's so many times I've seen the fourth quarter the Rockets fall apart, or in the playoffs we fall apart. We haven't fell apart yet. It's a great feeling, and I got to give them credit, and then I'm gonna go to work and be turned up. But I feel like this is the year that the Rockets, can go ahead and do it. And I had faith in the beginning of the season, so I'm gonna keep the faith rolling.
9 new players on this playoff roster that made it to the Western Conference Championship. 9 new players. And you have to appreciate the fact that we made it this far with not only the changes in the offseason, but the injuries throughout the regular season. and 9 new players. Only people that returned from last year's playoffs that's playing right now: Harden, Howard, Terrence Jones. Everybody else was not on the playoff roster. Let that soak in.
I think that's amazing. Also, I want to put this. I'm gonna say at the top of the show, Doc Rivers. He's been on two ends. He's been on the wrong end of a collapse twice now. Once with Orlando, with Tracy McGrady, who was collapsing with the Rockets, who will go on to do that, and now with the Clippers. I thought that was interesting. I just want to throw that out there.
Circle of light.
It feels good to be in the second round.
T-Mac should have been sitting on the sideline. Hey, Doc, what's going on?
No. The Rockets lose when T-Mac is in their presence. No,
Yeah, T-Mac's that game one we lost. Man, come on, T-Mac, stay home.
I thought that was bad for a while.
When I see Francis, I thought we was done. I'm like, oh.
Glad I didn't see Francis.
These quote-unquote losers stay at home. Francis, T-Mac, Yao, you all can please watch the game from your respective places of residence.
Go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
There you go. All of y'all can go to Buffalo Wild Wings. They can tip off the ref and make it go overtime, but the Rockets win. Go have fun over there. Just don't be in the presence of the team.
Yo, T-Mac, where you at? Man, we at B-Dubs with Moochie Norris, Ben Baker.
Kelvin Cato. We all just kind of kicking it.
Man,
Ben Baker, you know what he there for. He there for the drinks.
what happened with him and Ron Bowen?
Chuck Wagner.
People don't remember them dark days.
Chuck Hayes. Oh man, is he still with Sacramento?
He's with Raptors.
Oh, he's with the Raptors.
Chuck was in the playoffs.
Yeah. Patrick Patterson too. Yeah. Wow.
I like Patrick Patterson.
I wasn't a fan.
Patrick Patterson and Kyle Lowry, yeah, they all up there and cussing up a storm with
Drake.
With Drake and Ujiri, and they're all chilling on him too. Them with Drake and PND and The Weeknd, they all kind of kicking it. They can all go to B-Dubs. They can all go there with T-Mac and Yao and everybody. They can all have a nigga good time right there. But y'all, man, that's gonna be the show, man. That's gonna be the show on that note, man.
Gonna be handing out old pictures of T-Mac, signed autographs.
Exactly. Him in the 13 points in 30 seconds. But y'all, man, that's gonna be the starting five, man. Of course, good luck to them Rockets. This is exactly why I don't bet on sports. I'm gonna go with the Rockets. Why the hell not? You get on the hot streak. The Astros did it back in 2005. Why not the Rockets, man? Why not the Houston Rockets? So that's what I'm gonna pick. But yeah, we'll be back, man. After that game one, we're gonna be breaking it down. We'll be there for you for the playoffs, the finals, and beyond. Y'all say bye to the audience.
Take it easy, people.
Holla at me.
Chef Harden with the pot, boy.
Chef cooking with the rock. We out.